Hello friends of Civil 3D, welcome to Label Styles Part 2. In this session we're going to talk about how we can copy and make new label styles and apply them to some of our objects. So I'm going to take a look at some of our existing styles. In the last session we were playing around with some of these point label styles. I'm going to keep working on that. So I'm going to take a look at a style that I already have, like maybe this point style here. And I've got an elevation and a description. Let's say, for instance, I wanted to add a point number onto that. There's a number of ways I can do that. So I could make a brand new label style, or I could copy and manipulate this existing style. Probably the second option is going to be faster. So I'm going to start by going over into the settings tab. I'm going to locate points. I'm going to expand out points. I'm interested in labels, so I'm going to expand out labels. Now that label style that I'm using is, I think it's elevation and description, but if you want to be sure, you can again right click on it, go into point group properties, and in fact it does say elevation and description. So that's the one I want to manipulate. So I'm going to come in here, elevation and description. If I wanted to make a new label style, I could right click and go new and start right from scratch if I want, but again it's easier if you can copy and manipulate an existing style. So let's do that. I'm going to select elevation and description, right click, and I'm going to go copy, and it's going to make a brand new copy for me. I'm just going to change the name of this so it reflects my current style. Point number, elevation and description, and that should do it for the title. I'm going to go into the general tab. I'm going to leave everything the same here. I want to keep that fairly consistent because I like how this label style looks. So I'm just going to add in another component. So that's where I pop into the layout tab. So notice here under the component name, you've got two components, description, elevation. I want to add in one more called point number. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a new component by clicking the add text component button. It makes a brand new component for me, and I'm just going to rename this to point number. And I'm going to leave the more or less the same here, but on our anchor point, here's where you can change it. So you can see my label text is kind of a little bit over, but before I go around messing with the orientation and the justification of the label, I'm going to set up the contents first. That's usually the first thing I do. So I come into contents and I'm going to change the contents. Right now it's just generic text, so I'm going to change that by clicking the little button here. And then there's a number of different types of properties I can change here. Notice you've got two tabs. One's format and one's properties. So in the properties, these are all the different attributes I can add to my point label. In this case, I am looking for the point number. So what I have to do, just like in the last session, remember we have to select the text. I'm going to get rid of what it says on the right hand side, label text, and then I'm going to set this to make sure it says point number, and then I'm just going to pop it over to the side. And there I got the point number. So I'm going to say OK. And that's really all I need to do. And notice now I've got a new text component called point number. So here's where I can go ahead and start changing the justification. So I can do things by changing the attachment point if I wanted to, that kind of stuff. But honestly, it's a little bit easier if you just manipulate the X and Y offsets. So I might want to change something to an X offset of, say, 5, for instance, and same with the Y offset. So maybe I'll start with -5, see where that goes. Let's try maybe something like that. Oops, sorry, 4. Let's try, yeah, that's okay. You know, and you can change that around any way you want to get it to where you want, but you know, play around with that, that'll get it justified. Leave the rest of it the same because you want it to be fairly consistent, and then you know, you can check your drag state and your summary if you like, but if you're good with that, say OK, and you've now got yourself a new elevation, point number, elevation and description. Now I want to apply that to my points group, so I'm going to come in here, I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to go to point group properties, and notice that as soon as I change this, it's going to change it for all the points so that are in that point group. All the points that are in that point group called EG. So I'm going to say OK, and that gets updated, and there you go, you got yourself a brand new component. So remember, copying styles is much easier than making them from scratch, and it's just that easy. Thanks for watching, folks. Bye.